Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, James Walters, owner of Border Terrier Stanley and promoter of all things dog friendly via our Dog Friendly magazine and website. I am here with Steve Bennett, long-time owner of Whippets and founder of the Dog Friendly business in 2003. The Doggy Podcast with Steve and James. This week's podcast is about anxious dogs and yellow dog campaigns. And we'll be speaking to Sarah Jones, who set up a business to support anxious dogs. Steve, are there any of the dogs you've had in the past, have they been anxious? You've had any problems with reactivity?
Yeah, Blossom, who was the first dog that Lynn and I fostered and then adopted more than 25 years ago. She was an ex-racer, an ex-racing greyhound, and was uncomfortable in many situations, but nothing too bad until, unfortunately, she was attacked whilst we were walking her once by two other dogs. And from that moment on, she was a very anxious dog. And we didn't really know how to handle that situation. And it really affected our life quite a bit because it stopped us doing things with her that we would have normally done. So, we had issues with Blossom. And then a little while afterwards, we adopted a beautiful Slooky, Billy, who had been badly treated in his past life and had a number of health issues. And as part of that, I think he was very, very anxious, especially around people. Not so much around dogs, in fact. He was quite comfortable with many dogs, but around people he was very anxious. And again, at the time, because this was quite a few years ago, we didn't know what to do about how to handle those anxious moments in public.
Yes, and our Border Terrier Stanley is very reactive as well to people and dogs, people wearing hats, lots of things, anything different. So very, very emotional subject for a lot of people. So it's really going to be great to speak to Sarah, who's really fought to help anxious dogs get recognised and give warning that they do have troubles with certain people and dogs. We are delighted to introduce Sarah Jones onto the podcast today. Sarah has provided award-winning luxury yellow space awareness products for anxious dogs for over 12 years from Berkshire. Her dog Bella, a reactive Cocker Spaniel, was the inspiration behind her brand. She set up My Anxious Dog in late 2012 when Sarah realised her new dog Bella was fearful of other dogs running up to her and found the looming hand from strangers was distressing. Sarah needed something that identified Bella needed space and couldn't find a range of suitable products available. So Sarah designed her own. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Like a lot of our guests in dog businesses, Sarah, your life seems to have been taken over by setting up this pet business and finding a real passion for it. But what did you do before this all started?
I was a director in a family business in the electronics world. So we specialised in international power cords and components.
That's very different.
Yeah, nothing to do with the dog world at all. It was completely and utterly different.
But did that give you the sort of learnings when this came up about setting up a business? Was there connection with those, the ability to manage a sort of business?
Yes, I suppose it did. I mean, it was a very successful business, and it also gave me clarity with projects and things like that that we used to do. And also, we used to do exhibitions and things like that. So everything that I'm now doing is a completely different marketplace, but very similar on a smaller scale.
Yeah, okay. It gave you a grounding for some of the things that you would do later.
Yes.
With My Anxious Dog. So you got Bella in 2012, and tell us about the early signs that she had anxiety problems. How did this first manifest itself?
Before I got Bella, I'd never heard of an anxious or reactive dog. And also just being a dog owner, I didn't know the signs of an anxious and reactive dog either. So put those two things together, it sort of comes up with 5. So I got Bella, she was 8 weeks old. And when I first went to view her, she was 7 weeks old. And she had had a traumatic birth. The mum had to have an emergency cesarean. One of the litter mates had died. So Bella experienced trauma even before she was born. So I think that's where it all stems from. She also got bitten by one of the litter mates when she was about 6 weeks old. Whether it was rough play or in anger, I don't know. But when I picked her up, she still had quite a nasty little mark on her back. And it sort of stemmed from there, really. So there were lots of issues that I didn't recognize. When she was about 14, 15 weeks old, we went to the vets and she was allowed to have a small socialization with a couple of other puppies, but she just sat under my chair. And I didn't recognize those issues that were going on at the time. So yeah, that's how it stemmed. And then it just progressed on from there.
Yeah. So initially, the breeder gave you this quite a bit of information about what had happened during the birth and afterwards, which is quite interesting. Do you know if dog anxiety, is a growing problem, or is it just been more identified? I know we hear more and more about it and about reactive dogs, and we're in the dog-friendly holiday business, and more people seem to be looking for places to go that are suitable for reactive dogs. So is there kind of evidence that it's growing, or stats and research about it?
Yes, because obviously we've had lockdown and puppies born in COVID and things like that, and then going on to not being socialized. But I also think we're more aware of it because of social media generally over the last 10 years as well, is making us more aware of it. And I think because one of the things I've been trying to do is getting everybody to know what a dog in yellow is. I think people are talking about it more and able to say, my dog is this, that, and t'other. They're more comfortable with it. The dog population is growing every year as well. So when I was looking into a report for doing a couple of pictures for the yellow space zones, like 29% of dogs were fearful. The percentage of dogs with just general behavior issues was like 70%, whatever the issue is, not necessarily like Bella, but, you put that package together, it is a big problem.
Okay, so you've got this desire to create products for Bella to stand out and say, beware, she's anxious. What were the first products you came up with to show people this?
Well, when Bella started to react, someone told me about putting a yellow ribbon on your dog lead. But A, that's too small. And B, if you have got a pretty dog, you then put a yellow ribbon on them, it just makes things even worse. What product was out in the marketplace back then wasn't suitable for Bella's needs, because I wanted people to keep away or do not touch. And there was nothing where the instruction was exactly that. So I started doing a little bit of research into how I could get a product made just for Bella. It wasn't, I wasn't thinking I'm going to start a business up and this type of thing. And it was really, really difficult. So because of my background in the electronics marketplace, with sourcing out and finding it, that's what I had to go and do. So that's how I started with my products. I started with the do not touch and keep away on the harness, and it stemmed from there.
Okay, so those are the clear kind of messages in
Yeah.
bold black lettering
Yeah.
on a yellow background, effectively.
Yes. So yellow is the official colour for caution. And the yellow ribbon it came from Australia in the year 2000. A lady had a horse herself, and she was a dog trainer. And if you put a red ribbon on a horse's tail, it showed that they were a kicker. So you had to be careful when you were behind it. And that's where the idea came from.
So, bearing in mind your past experience was electronics, how did you find your way through manufacturing and marketing your own products? It was quite a big step forward.
Yeah, it was. It didn't seem a challenge at the time. Designing my product was an issue because I deal a lot with China. I found it very hard in the UK to get the industrial embroidery work done. So I want to design a product for Bella that fitted Bella well and was long lasting, like washable and things like that. So it took me a long time to design the right product before I was able to purchase it and put it on the marketplace myself. But yeah, I mean, I called my company as well My Anxious Dog, because it was like an umbrella of emotions for dogs. You know, sometimes you see a dog and you can tell that they're anxious or nervous by, you know, their behavior with their tail underneath. Sometimes they tremble and things like this. But the trouble is with Bella, she didn't show those signals to me clear enough that I didn't recognize them at the time, because I didn't understand that sort of behavior until she started to growl and lunge at other dogs. So to me, I needed to find a product that was like her voice of what she was saying, so that people understood.
And what is the general range of products now available for dogs in yellow?
I can kit you out quite well, from raincoats to jumpers to collars to 2 types of harness. And I think we've got 3 or 4 types of leads, with normal clips, with carabiner clips, to lead slips. So with different messages on to make your stories up. So, but one of the most important things with my brand is the little yellow heart that we do. So a lot of people find it very difficult. So I always say to them, you're not labeling your dog, you're doing it because you love your dog. And it's their voice, so that people can understand. So our collars, dog collars, have a little yellow heart on them. And the raincoats are all lined with little yellow hearts as well. So
Okay, and what's the most popular item that you sell?
they're all it's funny, they're all quite popular, even with all the shows that I've been doing recently. It all goes round in a big sort of circle. I can never quite predict. People will buy a harness and a lead, or someone might buy a lead and a lead slip. People start off with maybe a lead slip and a little collar. It varies. There's no one big standout product. You know, this time of year now, the raincoats become very popular.
There's not one item that people always go for, so you must get this item. It's really what suits your dog and what suits you.
Yeah.
Obviously, your products are available on your website. Are they available elsewhere online or in stores?
A lot of independent pet shops are taking the stock in, and some garden centres. They are available on eBay and Amazon, but I don't put the full range up there. There's just a couple of products on each of them so that it could be found. But I do like working with small independent pet shops.
Sarah, a very significant personal incident happened in 2019 to your partner, Matt. Could you tell us a little bit about that and how it affected you in running the business, My Anxious Dog?
Yeah, so before Matt had his accident, My Anxious Dog was just a part-time passion of mine. But in June 2019, we both cycle, and we were out cycling with some friends, and it was one of those days where it'd been sunny and then drizzly, and we were going down a road, and basically Matt's bike went from under him and round a corner, and a car was coming up the other way, and that basically, as Matt's bike slid, he almost like rugby tackled the car on the side of his neck on his left-hand side. So an ambulance was obviously called, and when the driver of the car was a retired doctor, and she was spot on with her diagnosis of what and the explanation of what had happened to Matt. His helmet was smashed to pieces, so he'd obviously had quite a bad head injury. So air ambulance was sent out to us, and he spent 2 months in hospital, and he was in a coma for a month, and he had a brachial plexus injury, so he was really, really poorly. And obviously at that point, I, wasn't the family business. I wasn't working or anything like that. So, and the clearer it became how poorly Matt was, I decided that to resign from the electronics company. And I found, because Matt was home a lot and because of the drugs that he had to take and things like that, he was asleep a lot of the time. and but I had to be around. So I found myself doing a lot of stuff around my anxious dog. And it also helped me, my mental health, I would say, as well. It made me focus on something that I had a passion for when obviously my personal life was, going through all this trauma and things like that. So, and I just concentrated on doing that. I found it very, very helpful. So it was something, yeah, that gave me a lot of help as well. And it also made me realize sometimes how these dogs can feel, because when you go through traumas and situations of whatever they are, not, with dogs it's different, but you don't forget these things, they stay with you for a very, very long time. And it was almost like it sort of connected me more so to that. And that's when I decided to, take it to another level.
And indeed, I think Matt's been doing really well. I did hear another podcast with him on, and he helps out quite a bit at the events and shows that you do for My Anxious Dog, I believe.
Yes, he does.
Passionate about himself.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, obviously he walks better as well. So, yeah, it was really good for Matt. Matt also had to have his left arm amputated a couple of years ago because of the brachial plexus injury. And with the drugs and everything that he had to take, it really dulled his brain and almost like sedated him. So he's been slowly coming off the drugs. But My Anxious Dog, because it was ours, he was able to come into it slowly, and it was really, really good for him to start getting involved in. But when he had pain, it wasn't, he could have, basically the day off or the morning off or not do anything, because it didn't really matter. So he actually packs all the orders for me now as well. And I do keep saying to him, we really must do a social media content on you packing the orders, because sometimes they look a bit like, because he's only got one arm. How he does it amazes me. But yeah, sometimes the parcel can be a little bit of a screwed up mess. We've had no complaints, so that's good. Yeah, and when we do all the dog shows, he's front of house now as well.
Brilliant.
That's very impressive, Sarah. I can't wrap anything with two arms, so absolute credit.
And that's why I've never had a birthday present from Steve as well. Sarah, when did National Awareness Dogs in Yellow Day come about, and how do people get involved?
Yeah, so that came about because, a lot of people go, oh, it's all very well about this yellow, but nobody knows what it means. Well, I do an awareness pack for people to buy, which has car stickers in there, wheelie bin stickers in there, posters. But the National Awareness Day, I just thought that lots of other people could get involved in it, companies as well. And it's something that I was quite, I put a pitch into to do it, and there's nothing like it, and the people don't, approved it straight away.
You have to be confirmed as allowed to promote it.
Yeah, National Awareness Days as an official thing, which who knew at the time? I didn't know about that, but yeah, you have to apply and pitch it for it to be approved. And then, I mean, you can make one up, but if you do it properly, it gets listed everywhere, so it goes, it's spread to, it's been done in America, it's been done in Australia as well as the UK. So, and when it's an official day, a lot of big companies, I've had Pet Remedy get involved in it, and I've also had Animal Friends Pet Insurance get behind it, and Fur Boost, loads of companies, Tug Enough Toys, so they've all got behind it as well, so then they can spread the message with it as which is brilliant.
I understand you've been doing quite a few national dog shows this year, selling your My Anxious Dog products. Which events have you done this year, and I guess also, are there any more coming up where our listeners can meet you and Bella?
Yes, so normally I do a couple a year, but like I was saying, Matt's a lot better. He's able to help me more so now. We have been doing the yellow space zones. So the idea of these came up when I had to take Bella to a local show, and there was nowhere to go and sit when you wanted a cup of coffee or something to eat even, or de-stress, just time away from it all. So I've been approached by quite a few companies this year to also do the yellow space zone there. So we've been doing loads. We've been doing Dog Fest, which we just got back from in Harewood House in Leeds. The weather wasn't very kind to us, unfortunately. Next weekend, we're in Paws in the Park at Detling Showground in Kent. The weekend after that, we've got the final Dog Fest at Nebworth House, I think it is. And then in October 5th and 6th, I think it is, we've got Paw Fest in Kent. And Paw Fest in Kent have been fantastic with the idea around the dogs in yellow and the yellow space zones as well. They're actually going to provide a dogs in yellow entrance for us, so that people that want to come, that have this issue of being very close in with their dogs, can actually have a dogs in yellow entrance. So that is absolutely amazing. And we are actually talking as well about having a yellow pup parade.
And what does that involve?
So the Yellow Pup Parade is on the Saturday, and all it is we're trying to get people to not be fearful about using yellow when their dogs are scared of other dogs or scared of other people or anything like that. So it's to come into the ring and do a parade one at a time or two at a time, depending how big the ring is. We haven't done it before. And just walk round the ring and be proud of your dog wearing yellow. Be proud of yourself for what you're doing and how you're advocating for your dog. So it's not really a dog being judged as such. The idea is about being proud of your dog in yellow and showing it off rather than hiding it. And everyone will get a little rosette and prize.
I suppose it creates awareness at the event, where normally you see these confident dogs jumping over things and doing agility. Bit of a controversial question, but why would somebody bring an anxious dog to a dog show? You know, you've got this quiet space and that. So I know our Stanley is quite reactive, and we do challenge ourselves to take him to places where sometimes it's more embarrassing for us than him. His reaction, but just explain that a little bit. The sort of dogs that you meet as well when you're on the stand.
I've been doing the dog shows just with my stand for probably 6-7 years, and you see a lot of anxious, nervous, reactive, sensitive, overwhelmed dogs. And it wasn't until, like I said, I had to go to this local village show that I felt it myself, because I wouldn't take Bella to something like that. But I just thought, because they come anyway, it's a place where they can come and be safe and get some advice. And I'm an ambassador for Pet Remedy, and we have a calming spray. So we spray the calming spray on the dog's harnesses, on the snuffle toys and things that are in the yellow space zone. We spray it on. I have 2 dogs obviously showing my products at the front of the stand that get a lot of attention from other dogs, and get the dogs are sometimes scared of the because I've got a black lab there, and they get dragged over to show them that it's not real. It's not real, they all say. So that's sprayed with calming spray as well. But a lot of dogs are bought that are anxious and reactive. Sometimes the owners know, they just maybe come for a little bit of time, or sometimes the owners don't know and don't see it themselves. They just think that the expression that I get often, they're just being twats,
Right.
Which really annoys me. But that is what a lot of people say. So they come. So we don't encourage people with highly reactive dogs or anxious dogs to come, but they're brought to these places. Yeah, it's to provide somewhere so that they can come and de-stress. And we've seen some wonderful sites this year of dogs in the yellow space zone and their owners as well, chilling out.
So where are you exhibiting in 2025?
That is a big question. I'm obviously going to be doing the first one of the year is always all about dogs in Newbury, but I'm hoping that Dogfest have really enjoyed seeing the positivity that it brings to their shows and will have us back. We do Paws in the Park, we do Pee in the Park, which we know we're already booked in for, it's near Edinburgh in Scotland, so a Northeast Dog Festival. But we're hoping to try and get it into Goodwood.
Seems like you're really focusing on shows a lot, but is there anything else next for My Anxious Dog and products? Or is there a 2025 special coming?
I haven't had time to think yet. I don't think so. We're just launching now the partner packs that people can buy. If so, you can dog behaviorists and people that work with dog professionals can sign up to our affiliate program that we do. But we've included now a affiliate partner pack where it's got all of our promotional stuff in there. We've done some research after our first National Dogs in Yellow Day, and we've got a little booklet that we put together called Empowering Anxious Dog Owners, and it's got all the stats from that and information that goes in there. Our stickers, our car stickers, our wheelie bin stickers, our posters. We have little cartoons done as well, which is a really good way to illustrate the Dogs in Yellow message. So they're in the pack as well, and the badges that people can wear, because we call ourselves the Yellow Army. So you get a Yellow Army badge, you get a a Dogs in Yellow badge as well.
Sarah, can you remind listeners where they can find out more about Dogs in Yellow and also the products, where they can buy them?
Yeah, our website is myanxiousdog.co.uk, and all our socials, we're on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Is the same, myanxiousdog.co.uk.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Sarah. It's been a really sort of insight into learning about anxious dogs, but also Bella's story. And it's been great. And I think you just mentioned the squeezy cheese toy in there somewhere just then. And that's sort of like, I was thinking, oh, that sounds fantastic. So is this something you sell yourself?
Yeah. It seems to be a bit of a popular item at the moment. Matt's just getting me one.
Oh, so we can hear the squeeze of the cheese.
Bear with me one second. So we do these products. So having an anxious dog.
Oh yeah.
So it clips onto your walking belt. I'll send you a couple.
Oh, perfect. A freebie as well.
It clips onto your walking belt.
Yeah.
But it extends, so you put your squeezy cheese in here.
Right.
I don't know whether and it's just when you pop it open, it clicks. So Bella knows that when she hears that noise, it's a bit like a clicker action.
Okay, yeah.
Is on the horizon. So she focuses on that for her cheese. So yeah, it's just a really good way when you do your U-turn across the road, or it's to hand because it can hang on you rather than fumbling for something else.
Perfect. Stanley's definitely going to give that a try, Sarah. And so thank you for being on the podcast and explaining all about it. And hopefully we'll catch up soon again. And anybody who wants to find you at a dog festival in the future, look out for dates from your website.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To find out more about Dog Friendly, the Dog Friendly magazine, the Dog Friendly Awards, visit www.dogfriendly.co.uk.